Alex, thank you so much for coming and doing this interview with me. We actually met before and I proposed you this idea. Let's start and talk about your journey because it's really inspiring what you have done on Fiverr. So let's first say how much currently Fiverr is bringing to you.
Thank you, Vasily. Thank you for having me. And I'm currently my last month. It is the month of November 2024. I was just north. I did just north of $10K dollars.
Well, $10,000
$10,000, yeah, in November. Almost, not fully. I was like, to be precise, 9,000 something, like close to 10,000.
Yeah, that's really impressive because if I was, of course, looking at your profile and you don't have like a lot of reviews, you don't really have like, thousands of orders completed like other sellers. And when I look specifically at your gigs, you come up with more like a higher ticket as well, services as it's a design, packaging, label design. So let's just talk a little bit what brought you to Fiverr, because of course you have a lot of experience, professional experience, and eventually like how you end up being on Fiverr.
It's quite an interesting story, to be honest, because as you know, we previously talked about it when we met. My journey was through life. I was doing a couple other things in life, not related strictly to marketing and design, which is, by the way, my primary profession. I did finish the art school in Belgrade, which was design was one of my majors. And the Fiverr, I saw potential in working on Fiverr during the Corona pandemic, when the Corona pandemic started.
Did you just find it online, or maybe some friend recommended to you?
Online. I was just browsing because I'm a big sucker for YouTube videos and I'm probably my friends. We have a saying like for the person who is constantly browsing YouTube, web, everything, like, hey man, you're gonna see everything online, like you're just gonna watch the whole internet. So one day I stumbled upon on YouTube profile of a girl. Mm-hmm. She was actually, or she is still at this day, Fiverr vendor. Her name is Alexandra Fasulo, probably.
Yes. She's very famous. Yeah. She switched now a little bit. She started to she started to build like the house, the bar and everything. She started to do, but she's the one who's been very loud about freelancing and Fiverr. So I also watched her as well.
Exactly. So I stumbled upon her profile. I started watching her videos and seeing also her success story, how her success story evolved through a period of probably 5 years or something like that. So I was like, there is some potential here, and actually that is one of my first contact points where I actually saw potential in freelance work, like in what actually freelancing represents as a career, and that it can actually be a career and a very profitable one. And then when Corona pandemic hit hard, some of my businesses were shut down because they were strictly related to hospitality, and I had some investments that unfortunately went took a negative turn. And then I just started trying to find a new way, how can I make an income for myself, like a primary source of income. And I was, as I just iterated, very inspired by her story and decided to go and to follow this route and to try to make a profile on Fiverr.
How did you come up with the services exactly? Because like that's always, the hardest thing. Of course, you had a background, but did you do already the services that you do now on Fiverr? Did you do them already outside of Fiverr, or you came up with these services by browsing Fiverr?
Actually, yes. As I just said, my major in college was design, so I have a design background. It wasn't like a completely new profession for me. I had at the time probably more than already 15 years of experience in the marketing industry and also in designing. I have worked for a couple of major pharmaceutical companies at the start of my career, also everything marketing related. I was a designer, a product manager, a marketing manager for the pharmacy chains. So I had a little bit of background in terms of especially in cosmetic industry and supplement industry and how this industry operates worldwide. And definitely, as I just said, in design, I had a significant experience. I have also worked with a number of clients, not specifically just cosmetic related, but in terms of like many different industries. So I saw that as a potential for me to build upon this career that I was pursuing and put on hold at one point in my life. And this was the point where I decided, okay, now I would either go on a completely opposite side, which was at the time real estate or something like that, or I should do a full-on pedal on the actual design, as I will take a design as my primary sort of career, and that's it. And I just pulled the plug and said, that's it. I'm from now on, I'm just gonna do strictly design. So, and my major was actually in brand development. Mm-hmm. So that's where one of my strengths laid. So I decided to build like the set of gigs on Fiverr that are related to brand development, logo development, and packaging development, which are the three primary sort of sub-niches of design that I had most experience in.
And this is a good, because when you go on Fiverr, especially because your case, I think it's really unique because you didn't come as like a beginner and you just like, okay, let me explore Fiverr and let me just learn as I go. You already came as an experienced, and you because Fiverr, people mostly say like it's a $5 thing. I mean, it used to be before, now it's definitely not, but you came with your professional background and you already established yourself on a platform. And that's the thing, is that you need to really differentiate on the services, because you never know which maybe gig is going to work well for you. So what would you say, like, at the beginning, how quiet it was, like how long it took you to get these first initial orders, like what it took to understand, okay, this is going to work out? Because many times people try Fiverr and they don't succeed, and they give up. But what maybe clicked or was a turning point for you?
Yeah, actually, because I explored a lot and saw how Fiverr as a platform works, and read a lot of reviews, a lot of on Reddit about how Fiverr operates in terms of when you're just starting out, how long it should take you to take off if you have a good gig or a quality created gig in terms of work, hashtags, keywording, and everything. And yeah, I was actually prepared for it. It took me probably, if I recall correctly, probably a couple of months until I got my first order. And just to clarify, of course, my current prices are nowhere near where they were at the starting point, but because everybody who's starting Fiverr it's just the not just the rule of thumb, it's just a golden rule. You just have to start with this amazingly or ridiculously small amounts, like $10, $20, $5 even. So
what was your initial price?
I think $15.
$15,
yeah. $15 for logo development, probably $15 for packaging design, which included label and box also. Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Your clients must be lucky to find you at that stage, because they got probably so much value in your service. But I agree, that's the same for me. I started with $5 and then my prices went initially up. Yeah. So it took you a few months, right? How long do you think?
For the first order. So it took me a couple of months just to receive my first order, for the platform to sort of optimize, to start recognizing the content that you uploaded, your profile and everything. Actually, I opened the profile was open in 2018. If you browse my profile, so that was the initial year of when I initiated the profile. I didn't upload anything before. It took me probably a year of very rigorous preparations, or maybe even more, to just segment everything, to create some passion projects, to combine them with the actual project that I did at that point. And after that, as I just said, probably 2 months or even a little bit longer to receive a first order. In those 2 months, you just have to filtrate those spams. That's just the thing that Fiverr is battling, and still battling up to this date. But it's just how it is. I didn't bother with that, with the fake profiles that contact you. And after I received the first order, then probably 15-20 days again for the next one. So, and it's just a sort of a avalanche that starts very, like a super slow, with a super slow pace. Everything moves like you're even getting an impression that it's never gonna happen for you. You're never gonna reach like a $500 or $1,000 per month. Like at that point, it looked to me like, it's gonna take me years to accomplish this. But if I was on it, I'm now being honest, I come from a serious design background, so I haven't started building up my designing skills parallelly to building a profile. So as you just said, I started as a very established designer in terms of my knowledge and my skill set in terms of design, and that just cut down that path, that initial from probably a couple of years to maybe 6 months or so. So after 6 months or so, maybe 6 to 8 months, I started picking up pace rapidly in terms of a number of orders. At that point, after 6 months, I was probably making $50 to $250 dollars per gig, in that ballpark. And then after that, this avalanche just picks up pace and just started.
And what was the turning point? Was it just because you had like the first reviews, the algorithm started to push more, or maybe because, let's say, you got first clients and they liked your work, they're coming back to you, or maybe they're recommending their friends, colleagues? Like, what was maybe like the turning point eventually?
I think it is a combination of all those things. Like probably the most impact at the start in this first initial 6 to 8 months, somebody, that's my personal thought, doesn't mean that I'm right, it's going to be a correct answer. I think somebody inside Fiverr has to notice you in terms of to actually see the quality of work that you're able to constantly produce. So continuity is the key. I had all 5-star reviews, and I have maybe 1 or 2 4-star reviews out of 220-ish reviews at this point. All my reviews are, so basically pretty much all my reviews are 5-star reviews. Also, recently I started having a lot of recommendations, people who are coming to me through Fiverr, through platform, and saying, we got recommended, you got recommended by our friend, client X, client Z, we saw your work, it's amazing, so we want to work with you, and So it's, as I said, it's a combination of things, recommendations, optimization, keywording, the thumbnail. Like, I can't tell enough how many gigs I actually got, or projects I initiated, just because having this amazing thumbnail on my key gig for the packaging design. Like it looks really cool. It's super clean with this
I agree.
amazing boxes.
Yeah, it's very clean.
I mean, I probably got at the starting stages, I probably got 60, maybe even more, maybe even 70% of my clients initial contact point when they initiate the conversation with me. It's always about this thumbnail. Like they're always going like, yeah, we saw this image looks amazing. We want something like that.
Yeah. I agree. I checked your profile. I mean, many times, and this morning as well. And I agree. You know, it looks clean. It like makes it attracts these clients who want maybe what you are requesting from yourself. You know, being professional, clean, and everything. And that's the clients you attract. Okay. So how many gigs do you have right now actively?
It's funny, I can't recall.
You don't even remember, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number. It's not a large number. It's, I think, 6 or 7. It's not over the tops, or 8 maybe. I know I added a new gig specifically for small revision cycles for my returning customers and also new clients. So I think it's about 7 or 8. My best performing gig, my 80% of my bread and butter comes from this single gig, which is cosmetic packaging design, which is my like super niched type of skill that I learned through the course of my career, as I previously iterated, working for pharmaceutical companies, etc., traveling to France to see the Vichy and La Roche-Posay factories, like all this embedded involvement in my mindset, in my skill, working on those brands. I also had the pleasure to work closely with L'Oreal team. So
Yeah.
I think you should definitely niche up as much as you can if you are gonna go and do a higher paying tickets, as I decide to pursue. So my cup of tea, so to speak, is this high-end Swiss design, minimalistic luxury type of style and aesthetic. That's just the sensibility that best suits me and my style, my type of work. And probably 70 to maybe 80% of my work is in this category, in this type of style, specific style. And lately, majority of clients that approach me actually approach me because of this style in particular, because they have seen the work, they have seen my gallery, they have seen the thumbnails, and they know that I'm the guy that can replicate this style very in a quality manner.
Yeah. And you also, so your average price is about like $300, $400, right, or more even.
If we average from start, I think it's around 165, but it's historically looking, it's from the beginning, average from the beginning. Nowadays,
for the last month, let's say.
Yeah, for the last month, it's a lot more. It's a lot. Those were some really higher paying tickets. Like I'm now doing a logo design for $1,000, even more. I did a complete brand book package a couple of months ago for $4K.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just came on Fiverr, yeah? Did it just came like...
It just came like girl paid like straight out of bed. I was shocked. Complete brand developments with full-on packages, including even the product imagery and the commercials that we did in Serbia. Clients shipped us the products in Serbia, and here in locally we did, because I'm also an owner of my second sort of, I don't know if I should
you
now
can mention,
go,
of course.
Mix and match all my professions. Yeah, I'm also a photographer and videographer, so that's my second major, so to speak. And me and a couple of my partners, we're doing work inside this studio, which is owned by my good friend and colleague. So I'm also doing a commercial type of photo shoot, cinematography, professional photography, product photography, lifestyle photo shoots, everything.
Have you thought to do this on Fiverr as well, or do you just do it now as a request sometimes clients, or do you have a gig for that specifically?
Yeah, I currently don't have gig. I have so many gigs in my pipeline already planned to start initiating them in the first quarter of 2025. So I plan to add a gig for specifically product photography. So I have seen that many people this is something that's not uncommon. People are already doing it on Fiverr. So regardless of where they're situated in the world, I think it's much easier if you're actually living in US, because majority of my clients actually are from the West, US and Canada, probably a very large chunk of my clients come from US. So, but regardless of that, I think that somebody can just ship you DHL or airmail you a smaller type of products. I'm now talking about maybe cosmetic, jar vessels or serum bottles. Somebody cannot actually ship you this chair, but it's
and also the customs in Serbia,
they're
a bit tricky.
It's tricky. I have also on that note a really funny story, a short one. A guy shipped me a box of 6 or 8 soaps to take a photo shoot for a studio and lifestyle photo shoot. David, my very, very good friend, we actually became friends. And the customs charged me like a custom inspection fee, because they opened the box of 6 soaps. Like they're just soaps. Like what you're gonna find inside it, right? And they opened the box. They did an inspection. They always charge for this inspection. I was kidding with David. I told him, "Hey, David, we have an additional fee. It's a significant one. The customs charge me for the inspection of the soaps." And David asked, like, "Okay, man, how much did they charge?" 1 Serbian dinar. Like literally, the invoice on 1 Serbian dinar. That's like a 100th part of dollar. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
It's a funny story.
Yeah, and I think this has a potential, of course, like to do this. Maybe not necessarily their shipping products, but maybe like with the actors, with some, like sort of, I don't know. You can still make obviously like a commercial using actors locally, people, and making some. We have done this as well. I did also have a video production, but when the COVID happened, I stopped doing that. So that's for sure has a potential. Let's talk a little bit about your team, like your processes on Fiverr. Like what happens when the first message comes to you on Fiverr, and what kind of messages, like what people usually ask? Do they maybe ask you questions, or they like, oh, okay, we like what you have, let's go? Like, do you feel there's a lot of back and forth at the beginning with a potential customer, or they know what you have and they just go for a purchase? And what happens next after that?
Yeah, so you'll be amazed, but we spoke about it. It's not a very good thing that I'm gonna say this transparently now in this interview, but I'm still a one-man band. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's a strange. Yeah, I'm still a one-man team doing all of the work, wearing all multiple hats. So I'm doing all of the communication. I'm doing all of the work. I'm doing all of the administrative work also for myself and my small company. So everything goes on my shoulders at this point. I'm currently in the process of assembling a team or trying to find the right people to work with me closely. I'm not necessarily trying to find employees at this point, but more of a sort of partnership, so that I can pay somebody per project, like a fee. I have tried doing this, and I have done it a couple of times already. I wasn't completely satisfied with the results that I was subjected from those persons. So I'm still in the process of trying to find, because as I just said, I'm working on higher paying tickets. And if I'm gonna do a delivery of the package for a couple grand, or a single label with a box for $500, $600, $700, it must be meticulous. So it's my modus operandi, so to speak. My business acumen is just producing the highest and the best quality work. Like all my mock-ups are custom designed, 3D modeled by me inside 3D rendering program. So I really strive to deliver the best quality possible. And to that matter, it's very hard to find somebody who can follow this sort of a very rigorous style and demands that I demand from myself first. I demand from myself first, and then I will demand it from my peer or partner, or tomorrow probably an employee. So yeah, to come back to the point, I'm currently doing everything myself, which is very taxing and very demanding. My work hours are crazy, over the top. In terms of production, there I have already assembled a very professional team of people who are masters in their craft in terms of production and storytelling and cinematography, DPing, everything. So now I'm sort of transitioning into this realm of becoming, converting myself from a single person agency, or how do they call them, one person agency.
Yeah.
To,
but this is sorry to interrupt you, but this is also a good thing as well, because I know a lot of like agencies who are doing everything by themselves. They have full control, they have communication, but they're charging a lot. They usually put it as like a subscription, like a file. Maybe you heard about Design Joy. There's this guy.
Yes. He's doing 100K per month.
Yes.
He was doing after at the time he did the interview on Starter Story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard
with Pat.
With Pat from Starter Story. I follow him also. Yeah,
really, it's a
great guy. Yeah. Yes. So it's definitely doable. It's possible, and also as the guy from Design Joy, I forgot his name, said at that interview. Also, his working hours, he was MIA, missing in action all the time with 2 kids. Like, it was absolute crazy. He wasn't there at all, and I presume he started a logic. It's just a logical move. You're either gonna scale up your business, or you're gonna go down, because at the point where you're just start hitting up the ceiling in terms of doing the work yourself, you cannot overgo in this, and if you don't want to overcome this situation by hiring people, you're just gonna be destroyed by this large avalanche of clients and work. Because if the business is a thing that it's just in its nature to expand. So either you're gonna expand and grow, or you're gonna be subjected to closing up the business, because nobody can work in this crazy pace, in these crazy work hours, like indefinitely.
All the time, it's impossible.
Yeah,
and
it's
even
possible.
for me, but I think for you, like, okay, you have, let's say, design, and you're doing design, doing the actual work, but then in your, for example, even like communication with clients, or closing the clients, like, do you feel maybe that can be a person who can help you, like managing your inbox, or just on the communication side? Of course you're doing the delivery, you're doing everything, but because if you can respond faster, because I'm sure, okay, you're responding, I'm sure, fast, but maybe it can be also faster, or it can be like more, like, let's say if you need, sometimes someone will message you and you talk with this person for the next half an hour, just in the chat, just to maybe they have questions, and you try to close that person, that's going to be good. I'm sure you don't have like all the time for that, right? Like, you can still separate. What do you think about that?
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question. I thought about it a lot, and I spoke with a couple of my peers and mentors about it. But the thing is, it's very tricky. Here is why. If I'm to transfer all the communications, or even a portion of it, to another person, that person has to be on the same level of experience and knowledge on Fiverr. So the person has to know how Fiverr operates, how you should respond, how you create the custom order. Most of my orders are custom, tailor-made to suit the client's specific needs. Which template should he use for this order, so that we have covered all our bases, in terms of that we don't oversell something, that we don't that we cover the description of the package in a way that everything is set transparently. So there is a lot of small moving parts inside. That person also has to be a professional designer, because how can he actually communicate which type of die lines should the client send us? Does he have a logo and a specific format? What are the actual requests for the projects? How many packagings? Like, there is a ton of questions that this person should know how to ask in which specific order, in order for me to collect the exact set, to extract the exact set of information from the client, so that I can then digest those informations and put them to good use, or start creating the actual design.
Yeah.
And this person, I mean, it literally has to have experience on Fiverr, has to be an excellent master negotiator. Like, there is a lot of involvement in terms of how I price my packages in terms of like tailored packages, because I'm the only one who I think can assess how much time would it take me to complete a project, some specific project. I tend to think my financial philosophy is that I tend to put my hourly rate as approximately $100 per hour, and if I know, or I assess that it's gonna take me 5 hours or 8 hours or 10 working hours for that project approximately, then I can price that project accordingly. I'm not sure that if that person who will potentially help me can know how many working hours it's gonna need me to. Yeah. So there is a lot of like hidden traps, so to speak, where somebody who actually who would do this work for me would do more harm by either overpricing or underpricing a project. He wouldn't collect enough information, he wouldn't extract enough data from me to be able to start working. So at this point, I don't think it's doable for me. At a later stages, definitely, when I create some more questionnaires and some more templates, sort of a system. That's the topic that you're constantly speaking about on your YouTube videos, and I really like, and I'm completely in line with what you are saying about the system. I'm still in the process of sort of trying to figure out what is the best type of system for me and my workflow, and when I figure it out, then I'll just start compiling a bunch of templates which can then be transitioned to other persons.
Yeah. Don't you think Fiverr is blocking you in terms of like this sort of a scale? Because what you're saying is, I completely agree. In my case, it's a bit different because we don't have as specific services and requests as you are, because most of my services are like, you want to grow your social media, your Instagram, this is what we do, this is how it's done. So a lot of things that we have is systems in terms of like, I have a video explaining them what they should expect and what they should do, like, in terms of the service I provide. In your case, it's completely different because every client will have a different request or different sort of what they're looking for. What do you think if you just take all of your experience and put it as a design joy, like you have it on your website, you can charge as much as you want, you maybe make it as a subscription. I don't know if it's applicable for your services, but still, don't you think Fiverr is kind of like maybe blocking you in a way? Because there's a lot of risks as well. If someone is going to reply to messages, like you said, maybe they can say something not good, your reviews go down and everything. What do you think about taking this and putting this on as like a design joy, your own website, your own systems? And
yeah, that's also a very good question. At this point, at this stage, because to be honest, my Fiverr profile started rolling upwards probably a year and a half ago, maybe even less, maybe let's say year and a half ago, which isn't a significant time. It's in a very short period I have achieved this success from $5 gigs or $15 gigs and making $100, $200, $300 in my first month. Probably I'm gonna check it out. Probably it was around $200 to $300 in that ballpark. To coming into 2024 in November 2024, making almost 10K a month and having this upwards trend that it's just gonna go upwards from this point. With me alone making this amount of money. So your question, to answer your question, I think that Fiverr was very good to me at this point. They are charging their 20% of commission fee for each of the projects, which I don't find overly expensive, to be honest. I think it's a fair bargain because they have opened me a sea of possibilities. They have introduced me to thousands of clients, hundreds of clients, thousands of potential clients and hundreds of my clients. They have even resulted in me having a couple of friendships now. Over Fiverr, I also saw, I don't know, your profile, then I reached out to you. So there's a lot of benefits and nice things happening over Fiverr. So 20% completely fine by me. I don't think it's a steal. Many people are speaking about, hey, they're overcharging us 20%. It's ridiculous. It's a highway robbery. No, I don't look at it this way. I think it's a fair bargain. If you are gonna scale up your operation, your business, start expanding, I think it's more than fair. So at this point, I don't think they are blocking me. They are giving me the opportunity to sit in Serbia, in my home country, in my hometown, with my family, and to work with such an amazing, talented people, to collaborate, to do the work in a way that I always wanted to do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be transitioning to my personal design joy-like website at some point, maybe in the future, maybe in 4 years, 5 years, who knows, right? The first thing that I know that it's in my pipeline is to create a copy of the website with all of my services implemented on the website, similar to your website, and to just reeling them and send URLs to my Fiverr profile.
Yeah.
So I don't want to abandon Fiverr because they literally helped me to regain my primary source of income and created a very nice sort of a playground for me to test new stuff, to collaborate, to earn a very nice portion of the money. I think I'm just getting started. When I say I earned 10K last month, I think it's just the beginning for me. Definitely, yeah. I see a lot of potential. I'm always, the guy who does 200K a month selling logo service. Yeah. So I don't think it's I don't want to sound like super ridiculous, but I don't think it's something that anybody who wants to be committed and to build a system, I don't think it's something that cannot be achieved. It's more than easily achievable.
Yeah, I agree because Fiverr brings also this kind of like motivation. It's like a game, you get a nice review, it stays there. You always want to try to like improve your rating score and rank higher. You look at other sellers and you want to be better than them, right? So you always kind of like compete. It's like you are in the competition. So I think that's definitely my motivation as well because, well, I've been doing a lot of things on Fiverr for a long time, and I'm still I'm still motivated. Of course, like, you know, we have systems as well. Like I have someone who helps me with messages, with closing clients, because, you know, I've been doing it for too long and I feel like I'm not as efficient as I was before. Like I need to have someone who can be maybe helping me, and I will be eventually doing a better like response time and etc. So that's good to hear, you know, that you're still, you know, pushing, and yeah, I agree. That's just the beginning for you as well. But of course, you always have to remember that you know it's a platform. You're dependent on the platform. Anything that you do, and you know, I hope nothing bad will ever happen to you. But unfortunately, I've seen a lot of cases where people, you know, make some mistake or something, and the accounts, you know, just gets shut down, and that's pretty much it. So it's good maybe to think about this in the future, that you can like differentiate your but I agree that if something is working, you should just continue, and you can make it 2x 3x and more. Let's talk a little bit about like, for what do you think, if it's too late now to start Fiverr, for someone who is watching, maybe someone is watching with your background, similar like professional experience, maybe they're working a job and they want to start on Fiverr. What do you think? Is it too late, or is it still okay? And what they should have, in your opinion, in order to maybe, like, what would you tell maybe yourself, you know, if you knew how your journey is to make this more successful for them?
Yeah, I don't think it's too late. I mean, I'm completely on the opposite side. Whenever somebody asks, regardless of the industry, regardless of the platform, regardless of what they are doing, and if they ask themselves this question, is it too late for me to start doing business in this industry? I mean, it's probably too late for me to now start learning basketball, to start and try to go compete in, same as yeah, I'm gonna be an NBA player. Yeah, I'm 40. I just turned 40 last week, so it's probably late for that.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. But in terms of business-related stuff or business niches, nothing is too. There isn't. It's just my way of thinking. There isn't such a thing as being too late, because if a guy was able to create such a vast and successful company in his 50s, right? He was 54, 55 when he created McDonald's, the Ray Kroc. I don't know if you know the story. He started building it up at 50-ish, 55, something like that. It was his beginning, and long story short, some 7 or 8 years after that, he started from one restaurant. He then owned 800 of them or something like that. So it's never too late. In terms of Fiverr, it's a platform that I think it's so hungry for the new vendors and new clients that anything you throw at it, if you are trying a very, very high quality service, and if you are a good negotiator, a good communicator, I think it's just a natural order of things that you're going to succeed. Do you have to be patient and to undergo this very rigorous, like sort of a strenuous, almost a torture type of period, where you know that you should value your service much higher, but you just have to build up your street reputation, sort of speaking? Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not for everybody in terms of like, it's not an overnight get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
So you have to be consistent. You have to be very patient, and you definitely have to offer a quality service. So I wouldn't be able to make 10K per month in any industry, on any market, even though if I'm now sitting in New York, Miami, having a lot of local businesses and clients, or I'm working through an online sort of platform. If I wasn't offering a high quality services in terms of if my designs weren't that good. So if you have the skill, I think people should first master or start being good at something, reaching the level where they are feeling comfortable with their skill, and then start working on Fiverr. They shouldn't be parallelly start learning, for example, copywriting or design or social media marketing campaigns, and start playing with Google Pixel or Facebook ads, and parallelly with that start opening and building their Fiverr profile. So on that note, I think Fiverr is, or any other freelancing platform to that matter, is more for a little bit more experienced people, sort of like when you already have a certain level of knowledge and experience and portfolio built in any, regardless if you're a programmer or a designer or whatever. Of course, there are a lot of beginners. I don't have anything against them. Like, you can offer a service for $5. We all know who am I speaking about, like $5 service, and there is a certain market for that type of service on that level. But for somebody who wants to build a profitable income stream, a career out of that, I think that person should first have some sort of experience in their field, in the business, and then start working on Fiverr. Other than that, there is no limit. Like, you can start Fiverr today, and I'm sure, like 100% positive, that if you know what you're doing, and if you're even a decent communicator, in a year you'll see some amazing progress.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, it's a good point you said, because for me, I tried Fiverr for the first time as a logo design. It was my first gig, and it wasn't a great, I mean, the client was happy because I did my best. I really wanted, I was so happy when I got this order. I was like, I'm gonna work on it all day, and I was a student at that time, and I delivered. The client wanted some small changes, and then they were happy with the work. But I realized that this is not something I'm passionate about. I just did it because it was for me, it was that euphoria, of having this online work, and completing online work just, by working on your laptop. But then I came I took, so I got my order, I don't know if it was 2015 or 16.
In the beginning.
Yeah, the very beginnings. And then I took a break because I was not happy with what I was doing, like logo design. It's not my thing. And then I started to explore Instagram marketing, social media marketing. And I actually started first with helping my coach, and just practicing my skills there and just making sure I can deliver something good. And then after that, I came to Fiverr again, and then I started to actually doing the service because I already learned, how it needs to be done, what I can help, how I can do it, and then I came back to Fiverr. So this is actually a good point, because it's not maybe good to just jump on creating a gig without that skill that you first need to master. And also we did it as well about 2 years ago with Mila, my wife. We just were chatting about okay, maybe we should do content, and she was interested in content, and I was like, okay, I showed her the Canva and how everything looks, and just show her initial designs, and she picked it up, and she got really passionate about it. And now this services brings also, well, sometimes 10K per month, sometimes a little bit less depending on the volume, but still it I would say between 8 to 10K every single month. And clients are coming back to us because I feel we have, first of all, we have a good system how we're doing. We have, of course, designers who are also working with us on a full time, so we employ them full time. But we really know what we need to teach them and what sort of systems we have in place, and that's what makes it also unique, and that's why we're doing, I would say, well, because we provide a good quality. So I totally agree with you, and I think that's
yeah, definitely. You, as you just said, you try to find, you were still in the phase of trying to find your sort of a calling in life. So, and you figure out that logo design isn't your thing, isn't your cup of tea, something that suits your sensibility. So, as for design, I wouldn't be necessarily, I had multiple times that clients approach me with a request. They have a beautiful vision for the projects, for their brand, or some packaging design, but it's just not something that I am very fond of, and it's not something that I think I would be the best choice in terms of design style. For example, some gritty or vintage nostalgia type of vibes, custom illustrations of some kids cartoonish type of things. That's just not my style that I feel comfortable doing, or I think I would do the best job. And I am always fully transparent with them. I always say to them like, yeah, this is my style. If you want something in lines of this and these projects, I always send my sort of a short portfolio presentations in the beginning. And if you want something like this or this, I can do this in this level of quality. But I think for this service that you're requesting, you should probably find. I always redirect them to another person on Fiverr. It's sort of my typical message or sentence that I just write them. There are some amazing vendors on Fiverr who will do this.
Do they do the same to you as well? Do you have like some level of like not partnership, but just like, do you maybe said, oh, I'm gonna recommend you these clients, and you, if you have clients that want what you do, you recommend. Or you just do it like randomly?
Actually, no. Randomly, I never want to sound like that I'm asking or requesting something in return. I think all good things come to the people who are. You have to, as all good mentors that we probably all follow or have been listening up online, say that you have to give something for free. You cannot try to have something come back to you in each and every scenario. So sometimes I would recommend somebody to someone, to a potential client, just for the sake of why, if I cannot make money. For example, if a person tomorrow approaches me, client, and say, hey, do you know a guy who can do a very good social media marketing campaigns? I need somebody to lead my campaigns or to organize everything. Why shouldn't I recommend you so that you also can earn some money? Because it's either gonna be you or the next person. I mean, I'm just always fully transparent, and I always want the best for each and every person, regardless of if they are some stranger. There were not one but several instances where I helped people with these recommendations, or I just did like a completely 5 or 15 or half an hour sort of gratis or freebie work for them, like a pro bono sort of work. And they were like, man, nobody did anything close to this in my life for me. Like, you're such an amazing person. I mean, I don't know if I should be speaking like probably sounds like I'm bragging about it, but it's actually really not. And they wanted to ship me like a tester of perfume or a tester bottle of a serum or a candle or something like that. Like,
yeah.
And I'm starting to see this repetitive pattern in my clients, which I always under promise and over deliver, or do like a sort of a small add-on to a project like for free. It doesn't really take me a lot of time because I'm really fast. I can work really fast. So, and I'm starting to see this pattern where my clients are on the top of what we already agreed, and they concluded the project. I got paid. They even tipped me, and after that they asked me, "Hey, can you send us your address and at your local town? We would like to send you a sample of the product, a sample of the candle, sample of the It's really nice." And when I read stuff like that, and also when I start reading my reviews, I mean, I'm really over the top. Yeah. That's also a very significant part why I'm doing this. Why, as you said, Fiverr is like a drug. Like, it's so addictive. Just to feel this level of excitement and joy, and to see how actually the next person is happy, how much happiness you can bring them by helping them solve their problem, regardless if it's a social media or design. Like it's,
Yeah.
I like that's the food for my soul. I just love it.
Yeah, I think it's a good end note on this interview, because I mean you said amazing things and I totally agree with you. But you know, there are not many. I mean, it's a very small percentage of people who think you know, like you are. I mean, I do think the same as well. That you know, when you do some good things to others, I mean, you of course you do it without any expectations on back. But then eventually something in the future will also happen good to you, and you know, maybe it's like a karma. You know, like you do something good and then you know something.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, so
I'm a strong believer in energy, flow of energy and karma.
Yeah. So Alex, regarding how people can find you or work with you, what is the best way? The best way for them to message you on Fiverr?
Yeah, they can reach to me directly through Fiverr, through platform. This is at this stage of my journey, as you call it, journey.
Yeah.
Is this stage of my personal journey in business. The only way for them to reach me. I will be adding some social media in the future, also everything related to my Fiverr sort of a company that I'm building, and also the website that I mentioned. But for now, at this point, Fiverr directly, straight message. If you currently type in cosmetic packaging design on Fiverr, just those 3 words in that particular order on the search, inside the search, I think I will come up as the #1 block, as a first person, as a Fiverr choice. I'm currently rated as Fiverr choice.
Yeah, and this is also you mentioned before the interview, because you know, Fiverr do pushes you know you eventually when you do good things, they give you like a Fiverr choice, which is great, and that's why you need to look at and do a good research on those keywords as well. So best way to message Alex on Fiverr, of course. If you need any design work or any sort of work, feel free to message him on Fiverr. If you have maybe question to Alex, you can leave a comment on this YouTube video. Just if you have any questions or anything else, Alex will also take a look at those comments. And yeah, I think your story is amazing. Wishing you, you know, continuing success, and maybe we will catch up, you know, in this sort of interview in a couple of months, and we'll see how.
Let's leave it a year. Maybe a couple of months is a short, but in a year, I think it's gonna be an amazing.
Yeah,
I can bring some amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to have an interview with you. And yeah.